a wasp nest behind that panel. How the hell did they get in there? Welcome to DMOP Garage. We are continuing here on this 52 barn door ambulance. If you don't know about this bus, it's the oldest one in Australia. Check out the previous playlist so you can catch up. We're on the interior at the moment. Let's come and have a look-see. Just going to walk through here. The door's shut because it's raining outside. It's cold and nasty. This is what we've been doing. We're just slowly working our way in here. Now, what I'm trying to do is get this headlining out. So we're going to continue with that. In the last episode, we were just removing this trim. We're going to take it all the way across, take all this side trim off, and then we can attempt to remove the headliner. So let's get cracking. So it's like I don't know what sort of material that is. We can probably just use MDF there. A little hunk of wood. Wow. Oh, check this out. How is this possible? There's a wasp nest behind that panel. How the hell did they get in there? That's absolutely nuts. Wow, that is bizarre. There you go. And what have they got up here? A little piece of wood just sitting here. And that must have been there. Right. Okay, we'll have to glue that. We'll have to glue this little piece back here like that. That's obviously that's a little spacer. Okay, we can do that. And then now there's a bit of a gap there and the material goes up and around. Okay. So I think what we'll do now is we'll just start to remove the tacks from here, take all these off all the way around, and then we can release the bows and this thing should just fall out, hopefully. See how we go. All right. Okay, let's start unpicking the material. And definitely some timber underneath it. Now, I think what we have to do now is start from the back, and we're just going to unpick the bows, and then we can start bringing it forward. So I don't know if that's the right way, but that's the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to need probably a screwdriver. here so you can have a look. Okay, so basically what's happening up here, we're going to have to remove these pieces of timber here because that guy there is locked into position either side, and then this is actually connected to the back side of it. So yeah, we're going to have to remove that piece of timber, that piece of timber, and that piece of timber there. So let's get those two out, and they should just be glued in there, I'd imagine. All right, let's get that done. Okay, so basically we unscrew this piece here, take that down, and then this bow here, which is slotted in the corner there, you just remove it forward like that, take it out of the hole in the corner, and then drop it. And we are out. That's it. All we've got to do now is a little bit of surface rust here we've just got to take care of, and then we can glue back the sound deadening felt stuff that they used back in the day. But yeah, that part's done. I don't think it's going to be too difficult to put a headliner back in this. We can give that to Matt and he can make a template and get some cream vinyl and get it sorted from there. Awesome. Well, that job's done. Let's continue on. Okay, one of the things that I've just done off camera is mounted the step, and you've got your little presser there, and out comes your step. So that's all glued back in, painted it, basically push it and it locks in. So that's ticked off. We're going to continue around the back here. This piece of plywood is completely shagged, so I've actually taken it out already. You can see there, that's the underneath. Now what we want to do is, obviously this piece of aluminium here, that's gone as well, so we'll replace that little section and replace this. So we're just going to measure this up, go to the local hardware store, get some new ply, and then we're going to have to buy some vinyl. And this is a very thick vinyl that goes on top of it, but that's all right, we should be able to find that. And then inside here, this just needs a good clean. We've got an inspection plate here, it's got a bit of surface rust on it, and another one there. We'll take those out and give those a sand and a repaint, and then we can just sort of touch up inside here a little bit more. And then we have a dirty great big piece of plywood, which was the floor, and we've got to get that replaced too, because that was quite rotten as well. So one of the next things I just did was remove the fuel tank, and it's actually in really good condition. There's a little bit of surface rust. I'll just show you inside here. Let's put some lights on. You can see just down the bottom there, a little bit of surface rust. I'll be able to just wire brush that back and coat it, and the obligatory Huntsman spider carcass in the corner. But the rest of it up in there is good, and up in there is good too. So a couple of these felts we'll just have to re-glue down, but I'll get onto that. That's probably the major part down there. I mean, I think if it was to be left any longer, this would have definitely eaten through to the bottom. So luckily I pulled that out, but the tank's actually in good nick. I mean, I've got to pull it out obviously to clean the insides of it out. Let me just get it out here for a second. Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, luckily we caught it when we did. A little bit of surface rust on the underneath of it as well. But obviously a ambulance only fuel tank. Very, very basic design. I mean, they've got the ribs, reinforcement ribs down the side. We will restore this as well and get that looking Mickey Mouse, and then we can stick it back in again. Right, let's clean up a bit of this rust here. Okay, so we have a problem. We have 2 holes, 1, 2, 3 pinholes. Now, this thing has not had fuel in it for probably 30 years, so I'm pretty safe to weld on it, but we probably will still put some water in it. Oh, there's another one. Another hole right there too. I'll have to clean that up. These ones are all right. Yeah, what a bummer. Pretty thick metal, but luckily a good thing that I actually pulled it out, because that would have been a big issue. So let's get it sorted.
A few moments later.
Okay, welding time. It's been flushed out a couple of times with water, and there's still water in it and soap, and I think we should be good. And if we're not, well, you get to see an explosion on YouTube. So you can see there, 1, 2, I don't think that one was one, but I just went over it anyway, and one on the side there. We're going to clean this up, dry it, and put some water in it, tip it over, and just see if anything leaks. And then we also will put a tank sealer through the whole lot of it anyway, polyurethane tank sealer, just in case there's junk inside it, which I don't think there is. I think it's actually quite clean, but yeah. All right, we'll grind those back. Just double check our welds. Okay, so she's all repaired up. We've just chased a few extra little holes, very, very tiny ones, but you could just see little bubbles popping out with the water in it. Anyway, it's all sealed. We've got some phosphoric acid on there now. I'll just let that sit till tomorrow, and then we can spray the whole thing in KBS black and call it good.
2 hours later.
And there we have it, nice and painted. We're just giving it that factory dark grey machinery, grey colour, I suppose. But she's all coated. I just thought I'd leave that factory rubberized stuff on there. And yeah, she's ready to get put back in again. We've just been putting some gearbox oil into the reduction hubs, and I've got to put the gearbox oil in the gearbox. Fingers crossed we don't get any leaks, so we'll see tomorrow morning whether or not all is good. I also have all the plywood for the interior floors, so we're going to start playing around with that very soon as well. All right. Righto guys, so the fuel tank is back in its spot. Let's take out these vice grips, and she's all bolted in. It's funny that the strap goes on an angle, but that's just how they did it from the factory. Anyway, that bit's done. We can now put the inspection plate back on top and seal that in. Now, while I was underneath doing up the bolts, I ended up coming around the corner. This was a lot higher, and I crashed straight into the side of that with my face, and I've given myself a bit of a whoopsie straight across there. It probably needs a few stitches. Have I got a headache now? I've just glued it together for now, but yeah, it freaking walloped me a real good one. I need an ambulance because of the ambulance. The things we do, eh? Anyway, let's continue. We're going to get that top little inspection plate bolted back on. Okay, there we have it. Plate's all bolted in, and that's pretty much ready now for our big giant piece of plywood that has to go in there. We're going to use the original one as a template, and I'll bring down some sheets and get those chopped out. Same for this part here. We can get that chopped out as well. I reckon that's going to do it. I have got the worst headache from this thing. I'm going inside to lie down. I'll see you in another episode.